Did you know people are becoming millionaires sat at home playing computer games? That is the world of esports, and today we're going to dive in. Esports stands for electronic sports, and yes, it's literally people making a career out of video gaming.
A 16-year-old took home $3 million in the Fortnite World Cup.
It's a booming industry, a billion-dollar industry, and it's growing every single year. Games are getting even more competitive.
He does go down, but the minions are going to take it. He's got it. I do not believe.
And esports athletes are getting richer and richer. Today we're going to take you through all the levels of esports, how people are making money, how the industry is growing, and of course, ultimately, how can you take the lessons from the esporting world and apply them into your business? Just like regular pro sport, esport gamers spend tens of thousands of hours getting good at their craft, getting good at one particular game. And there are many different esport games and industries that you could tap into.
You'd be surprised at how similar the life of a pro athlete is to the life of a pro gamer.
Before we go any further, let's look at the top games right now and the prize money behind some of these infamous games. Top of the list is Dota 2, with around 2,000 tournaments and a whopping $340 million in prize money. Next is a very popular game that you've probably heard of, Fortnite. That also has around 2,000 different tournaments and a whopping $175 million in prize money. Number 3, a game very true to my heart. It was actually one of the games I played as a teenager, and I actually got to a professional level. It's called Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and this has around 7,000 tournaments with thousands of different players and a total prize money of around $160 million. And the last two hitting the list, another famous game called League of Legends, with around 3,000 tournaments and prize money over 100 million. The final one, Arena of Valor, with around 160 tournaments, but a whopping $80 million in prize money. And you're probably thinking, should you pack up your bags, hand up your notice, and move back in with your mom to become a professional gamer? Well, maybe you should. Let's check out some of the top earnings from esports gamers just this year. Top of the list, N0 Tail, with a whopping $7 million in overall earnings. And remember, this doesn't include other earnings such as sponsorships, affiliate payments, and payments from their social media brand that they're starting to grow. Second on the list, Jerax, with about $6.5 million. And the list goes on. Anna, $6 million. Seb, $5.8 million. As you can see, it's pretty crazy how much they're earning. The esport arena is getting bigger every single year. It started when I was a teenager, and now in the last 20 years, it's become a massive industry, an industry that you should probably start paying attention to. They are the next wave of influencers, and some of them are building massive online brands at the same time.
You know, me and McDonald's go way back. Now, we're officially welcoming them into the FaZe family. Be on the lookout for some dope stuff and stay tuned. FaZe up!
And guess what? Just like pro athletes, some esports gamers are even getting scholarships to university in America. They're being noticed as a professional gamer and getting a ride through college for their skill set with a controller. So before we go any further, let me know what your favorite game was growing up, or maybe you game right now. Let me know in the comments. I would love to check it out. And hey, maybe we'll even see each other online one day. And the esport influencer world is also taking off. Just look at some of these esport gamers and how big their following and community is growing. A few notable gaming influencers include Vanoss Gaming, Sniper Wolf, Blitz, Pokimane, PewDiePie, who was actually the biggest influencer in the world until Mr. Beast came along. Just like the mainstream influencer world, the list goes on. And these guys have figured out, how do I take my skill set, grow a following, and then monetize it? So one of my lessons that I want you to take home, and you see this as a reoccurring theme in all of my videos, is build a bigger brand, build an online brand. Another potential lesson for you here today is how can you get these upcoming influencers to become part of your brand? Maybe you sell a product or service that gaming community may want, and maybe these influencers are cheaper than a pro athlete or an A-list celebrity. One great example is the transition between two industries. For example, T Grizzly, a famous rapper who is now making 200 grand a month from his Grand Theft Auto Online server.
The way that I monetized it, I get paid from the server because you got to pay to get in, right? We got like 90,000 members.
How much did it cost to develop the server?
My people did it for me for free.
Oh my fucking
My
God.
man's in Canada. His name North.
And this shows you the power of how to monetize in every single industry. When there's a fan base, when there's millions of eyeballs, you can create something epic. Local esports gaming centers have also become a great new side hustle. Pre-COVID, the rise of these gaming centers took off. People wanted to come, hang out, load up the best games on high-performance rigs with super fast Wi-Fi and have a gaming party. People love nostalgia. People love that human interaction. Yes, even gamers. The last decade has been great for the esporting world. Just look at the growth of views in the last decade. This got the investors excited because guess what? Between 2014 and 2019, the revenue went from 130 million to close to 1 billion just in 5 years. So how did the esports world get so big? Well, it's partly because of social media. Massive online streamers has made esports grow as a community over the last decade. The ability now to load up Twitch, to grow a community on Twitch, and just like in pro sports, for people to have their favorite athlete has not only created the esports celebrities, but it's also created massive amounts of eyeballs for the tournaments, which guess what? Increases prize money. Why? Well, you do the maths. If you've watched my video for long enough, you know more eyeballs and more attention equal more dollars. So let me break it down how it works. The more eyeballs equal more attention, which means advertisers will generally charge per 1,000 impressions. So if you have an esports tournament that gets 1 million views, you're able to charge a lot more than when that same esports tournament got 100,000 views. Now the esports companies are able to charge way more for advertised placements. This creates a ripple effect. Eyeballs, attention, money, revenue, payouts, and then repeat. So what are some of the lessons you can take away from all the facts, the figures, the hypergrowth of the esports community? Well, I think one of the biggest is the rise of the esports influencer. If you've watched any of my videos in the past, I'm consistently telling you to build a brand. There's literally personal brands in every industry you look at, even esports. Second thing that the esports gaming community can teach you in business is to look for new trends. If you had got in the esports industry 5 or 10 years ago, you would be sat on a pretty penny right now. That's why it's so important to stay focused on emerging trends. It's so important to look at what's next. The third one is communities. The esports community is massive. People rush to their favorite game, and then inside the favorite game, their favorite team, and then inside the favorite team, their favorite personal brand or athlete, or gamer as we would call them. These communities are so powerful. They create these tournaments that pay out millions of dollars. They create the hundreds of thousands of streamers that allow these companies to continue to grow. And finally, create stickiness. The gaming industry is one of the best at creating what I call stickiness. If you look at games like World of Warcraft or many of these games, they're amazing at creating levels, amazing at getting people addicted, amazing at people trying to work for hours to unlock that next level, that next thing, that next item. If you have an app, if you have a software, if you have a membership or a subscription, and you want to figure out how to get your members to stay longer and pay you more, the gaming community is the best in the world at that. I love to study it for how do they create stickiness. And I guess you could call that the final level for today. I've had a blast diving into an industry that took up a big part of my teenage life. Few people know that I actually built one of the biggest gaming communities in the game called Counter-Strike at 13 years old. I had 7 teams under my brand at 13 years old. And yes, I was even sponsored 20 years ago. However, I didn't get millions of dollars, sadly, like the esports gamers of today. I hope you enjoyed this whistle-stop tour into the world of esports. Until next time, keep leveling up, and I'll see you soon.